Welcome to the Lync Server 2013 and Lync Online webinar delivered by Navantis. Today's speakers are Adis Tusakovic, Advanced Infrastructure Practice Lead at Navantis, and Krief Gentos, Infrastructure Consultant. Now, before we begin, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Navantis. Navantis was founded in 1998 and has over 350 IT professionals. 130 of those professionals are Microsoft certified professionals with over 450 Microsoft certifications. Navantis also has 5 Microsoft virtual technical specialists and 5 Microsoft most valuable professionals. Microsoft is one of North America's leading system integrations firms and was also one of Microsoft's first 25 partners worldwide. And in 2011 and 2012, Microsoft recognized Navantis as Partner of the Year. Now, Navantis has the most Microsoft competencies in Canada. As well, Navantis is ranked 14th in the world when it comes to competencies. We have 11 gold competencies and 7 silver. And as you can tell from our competencies, we are a full Microsoft end-to-end stack provider of solutions. Now, our clients span many different industries, from oil and gas and utilities to law firms to financial services. We build solutions across all industries and across all platforms. Now, let's get started.
Thank you, Susie. In the next slide, we're going to discuss the status quo of enterprise communication, the impact that the consumerization has on this discussion, and we're also going to cover the Microsoft vision for unified communications. Technology has brought us a long way in terms of how we communicate in the business world, but as the communication and technology have evolved, they have really done so independently, in parallel with one another, creating communication silos. In the meantime, the way we work is changing. The business is operating at a faster pace and frequently across time zones. As a society, we are much more mobile. We have greater access to technology outside of the workplace and expectations to match. Today's information workers are using a variety of products and services to meet all of these different needs in their personal, but also their professional lives. For most companies today, telephony, voicemail, email, instant messaging, audio and video conferencing, and any other group communications tool live in their own disconnected silos. Each has a separate operating platform, often with proprietary third-party technology, separate clients authentication, separate administration, as well as separate storage and compliance. And if we add to that all the consumer-oriented tools and services we are using day to day, the result is really an enormous headache for the end user. We have to now remember separate phone numbers, account names, passwords. Plus, all of these users have limited communication with each device. So for example, you're not able to make audio calls from your computers. Ultimately, the result is that the communication is disconnected. The independent silos now encompass really both the enterprise and the consumer, and they've really led to redundancies and inefficiencies for the IT administrators as well. So it's really been expensive and difficult to manage and maintain and ensure that each is really in compliance with business, government regulation, is secure and manageable in the long term. Lync reduces complexity by putting people at the center of the communication experience. The goal is to integrate all of the different ways that people communicate with each other in a single environment, in a single client, with a single identity, and really provide the businesses with the power to choose how they provision these services. So whether it's on your own premise, as a cloud service, or in a hybrid mode. With Lync, we have a consistent single client experience for presence, instant messaging, voice, video, and really a great meeting experience which wasn't part of previous releases. Lync delivers an experience that is differentiated from any other unified communication solution in the industry with the best-of-breed integration in the Office family of apps. So Lync users now focus less on how to use the tools and really direct their energy towards meeting the needs of their business. With Lync as a UC platform, the IT is now able to modernize operations, to simplify administration with Active Directory, with a common data store, and shared set of archive and compliance tools across multiple UC components. In the next slide, we're going to really talk about what the vision is for Lync 2013 and Lync Online, as well as what are some of the key innovations to enable great user experience. So the vision for the next release of Lync builds on the strengths of Lync 2010, but really by taking a broader view of how communications, data, and human interaction blend in order to drive connection among distributed workforce. When you can blend animation, clean design, touch interface, the scenario and user experience is elevated to new ways. The essence of Lync is really captured in 4 pillars, or collection of investments. So the first one is multi-party HD video and content sharing. So with Lync 2013 and online, it really showcased the advances of video and visual communication. It takes the concept of I see what you mean to an entirely different meaning when colleagues and customers, no matter where they are, can see each other's gestures by hearing the tone, all when working in Lync Meeting. The next release of Lync delivers on a promise of access anywhere. So it's by ensuring that Lync is available anywhere to a user accessing it from any device. So whether that's a Windows 8 PC tablet, a mobile device, an iPad, really any device. No matter what device you use, the goal is that the experience is going to be familiar and engaging. Lync was built from ground up to deliver identity-based communication, pivoting all around the user's identity rather than the old paradigm where we use a phone number as a proxy to a person. Lync integration across all of the Office apps enables one-click communication directly within the productivity application used by the information worker, and Lync is integrated into Outlook, SharePoint, OneNote, and really any other Microsoft application, so users do not have to leave their current application to contact others. And finally, Federation with Skype. It was really about unlocking the potential to bring in all of these investments mentioned and the rich communications and collaboration scenarios to enable access to hundreds of millions of users worldwide. So one of the big enhancements was really around multi-party HD video, gallery, and H.264 SVC support. So with new gallery view, you can now automatically see everyone in the Lync meeting via continuous view of multiple HD videos, streams, or photos. So the video gallery will scale to provide the best experience for a diverse set of scenarios, including point-to-point video call, small group collaborative sessions, or presentation-style sessions, showing the most relevant people in the meeting at all times by bringing the 5 dominant speakers video into focus to the standing row, so which is the top row shown here, and displaying the thumbnail photos of less active participants in the sitting row, which is shown just below. For Lync client users, legacy audio conference call experience is transferred into a video gallery, so participant names are displayed with their videos or photos, and active speakers can easily be identified without having to open a roster and search. So what you traditionally have experienced in just traditional audio conference calls, oftentimes you have to interrupt the speaker, and sometimes if you don't recognize the voice, ask who actually just said that. So with the roster view, which is now accessible, you can view full contact card information if you desire by simply hovering over the contact and finding out more about the actual presenter. So Lync now uses the industry standards, including H.264 SVC, to enable the multi-party HD video experiences across a range of devices. So the investments in H.264 support enables each participant to receive a video stream that is optimized in terms of quality for their endpoint and network condition. Historically, Microsoft has gotten quite a bit of resistance from the industry and a lot of criticism for lack of adoption of industry standards, both on the audio and video codec side. Most notably, the traditional audio codec, which is called RT audio. And one of the reasons that they've chosen to adopt that audio codec was because Lync was not really designed for your traditional corporate LAN environment with quality of service. Their codecs were designed in a way way that they can operate over, unsecured networks, over low quality connections, such as the internet, which really represents, how users use these technologies today, from Wi-Fi hotspots, from mobile devices, from home. And as the industry standards have been catching up, specifically H.264 SVC video support, which is again an example of an adaptive codec, Microsoft has really embraced those industry standards and integrated them into Lync. So let's talk a little bit about presenter controls and how we can optimize Lync meetings for various meeting types. So when scheduling a meeting now, the organizer can select various options. So you can select a dedicated space, you can create a new meeting room with a new ID and a password, ultimately allowing you to customize the meeting options for Lync meeting to serve unique set of requirements. So you can facilitate more formal or structured meeting types or manage the experience for the participants themselves. So for example, if you have an external participants, you can specify who are the presenters, whether you're dealing with confidential information to discuss. A meeting organizers, for example, might want to leverage the lobby and create a more controlled meeting space where when you decide, you can actually who and when you want to let into the meeting. So depending on the type and size of the meeting, you can now also decide if you want to mute the audience, allow or block video sharing right from the time when you schedule the meeting. And these options are also available on the meeting options page and are recommended for Lync meetings with more than 20 participants. So presenters and organizers can select to lock the video or designate a specific person in the meeting, essentially putting them in a video spotlight as the focus of everyone else in the meeting. During the meeting, you can now also focus the delivery and the participants and not be distracted with, meeting administration. So Lync now uses a concept of peaks to provide more functionality with less UI clutter. And what you can see in that example is an example of a peak. So if you hover over any of the buttons, you will get a pop-up with additional options. So you can control things like whether you want to add a whiteboard, whether you want to run a poll, whether you want to present on different set of monitors, or manage your presentable content. So we're going to talk a bit about participant-selected views of content and people. So Lync users focus less on how they use tools and really direct their energy to meeting the needs of their business. And one of the ways that you do that is by ensuring that meeting view options are designed to bring content and people together while really optimizing the Lync meeting experience to every participant's needs. So if you look at the meeting view today, it is selected by the participant and visible only to them. So each participant ultimately has the control over their own meeting view. So with the gallery view, you can show all your participants' photos or video. Speaker view, shown below, focuses specifically on the presenter or the active speaker at the time. And the presentation view will actually show the content being presented, such as the PowerPoint deck, a whiteboard. And the compact view will show you only the participant photos. And you can then simply hover over the participant to see their full contact card. Again, in this view, the gallery view and the speaker are shown simply to provide compare and contrast, various types of views. As we talked in some of the earlier slides, mobility was one big area of investment for Lync 2013. So Lync has been really reimagined and specifically optimized for touch interfaces for Windows 8, but as well as other devices like Android-based, iPad, Windows Phone, and really a multitude of devices that Lync supports today. With Windows 8, the touch for capabilities provide fast and natural hands-on control of communication across different devices, different architectures. And all of this helps the end users by creating an end-to-end security and consistent experience regardless of what device they use. With the Lync notification enhancements, you now have a good view where you can simply go and glance at indicators and alerts. So you can see incoming, missed connections, you can enable connectivity, and all of this while really reducing resource consumption. So the collaboration capabilities included in the live meeting within the full view are really immersive and actually quite dynamic. So you could easily escalate the conversation, switch between different conversation, all of it while taking advantage of the new metro style navigations and gestures and search capabilities. So the Lync mobile clients enable users to make and receive calls from a consistent Lync identity and join Lync meetings from a mobile device with a single touch. So you no longer have to remember, the phone numbers, the complex passwords and pins, really just to get in a meeting. And in customer update, cumulative update 4 and mobile wave 1 that was delivered on Lync and for Windows, when Lync delivered support for Windows Phone and iPhone as well as the iPad. In Mobile Wave, which followed, which was Mobile Wave 1.5 in June 2012, Microsoft also delivered the PPT viewing experience to Lync users, so you can join Lync meetings directly from iPads. And this feature set actually continues to evolve quite rapidly. So in Lync 2013 timeframes, there's going to be added capabilities which will now support VoIP over wireless, so Wi-Fi, 4G, 3G, and video over wireless. So the Lync's voice and video over IP experiences, including peer-to-peer, Lync meetings, will be supported across mobile devices. In addition, we expect to see application and desktop sharing capability for the Lync Metro style app and iPad, which are planned as well as the VoIP and video IP on Lync for Android smartphones, which we expect will follow later in first half of 2013. One of the big enhancements was really around Lync Web App. With Lync Web App today, you can enable PC and Mac users to join Lync meetings from within an HTML5 based browser window. And it's been completely designed with full Lync meeting experience. So that includes multi-party HD video, voice over IP, instant messaging, desktop, PowerPoint sharing, all of the experiences that you'll find with the rich clients. With Lync Web Apps, you really eliminate the need of having to install client software by simply using the browser-based clients. One of the big enhancements in 2013 is really a result of adoption of HTML5 and the existence of modern browsers out there, such as Internet Explorer 9, Internet Explorer 10, Chrome, and Firefox. One of the reasons why previous versions of specifically Lync 2010 required an attendee client for guest users to join Lync meeting was due to limitations of the HTML protocol, which did not have the ability to access the physical resources on computers. So you couldn't access audio and video devices and configure them through the web browser. With HTML5 and modern browsers, that's actually now possible, enabling this rich experience through use of Lync Web App. Lync, again, is really all about integrated experience across all of the Microsoft application, whether that's Outlook, whether that's CRM or SharePoint. With Lync, the information workers will always use a single unified client to manage all the communications, including voice, video, multimedia conferencing, and instant messaging. And it's all done with a simple instant message that can be escalated to a Lync meeting, to a video conference at any time from a single client. So with deep integration with Office, you can enable instant communication and collaboration with your coworkers, with customers and partners, and directly from the apps that you use most commonly. And as you can see in this example, all of the Lync experience is completely integrated throughout Outlook 2013. So the contact card in Lync 2010 was a significant improvement over previous version. It was built around the notion that notion of a single number each, and the fact that really when we're looking to communicate with somebody, regardless of the modality we choose, we're actually looking to communicate with the person. And the different ways that we can communicate with them, whether it's a link call, whether it's a call to their mobile number or a voicemail or an instant message, is really embedded within the contact card. I think one of the great enhancements was that with a contact card in 2013, you now have a dynamic resource that will always display the contact photo, their presence, their status, organizational details, and it will be consistent across any Microsoft application. So the Lync users will always see their contacts availability in real time and be able to chat and quickly move between active conversations and Lync meetings. If you have privacy or confidentiality concerns, you can let your users easily modify settings to show presence only to the contacts that they have directly in their buddy list. And with the contact card, you can now bring the information from both internal and external networks. In 2010, we already had capability around the unified contact card that would integrate information that existed in SharePoint, that existed in Exchange, in your local contacts folder, and aggregate it into a single contact card. With 2013, that's now been extended to include popular social networks like LinkedIn and Facebook, and all of this information of your contacts will be aggregated into a single unified contact card. So now end users can initiate calls or instant messaging directly from the contact card based on users' presence and regardless of where that contact information coming. With Exchange Contact Store, it'll light up all of the Office application, including Lync, so it allows you to manage your contacts from any Office application. So OneNote is now also directly integrated into Lync. So you can now take meeting notes, record attendance, capture whiteboard sketches, slide annotations, and you can save them directly into OneNote notebook. So with OneNote Share, you can now create and share OneNote digital meeting notes within Lync Meeting, which reduces errors caused by later transcription and really by simplifying communications and follow-up. So the OneNote can be shared in preparation for a meeting, using as the resource for content, or really for a tool for taking notes after. And finally, the big one. A couple of years ago, Microsoft completed the acquisition of Skype, and to date, Skype has over 200 million average monthly connected users, and at peak times, there's about 35 million concurrent users logged on to the Skype service. So Skype generates over 300 billion voice and video minutes annually, of which 43% were audio. So there's just fantastic adoption of video communication in the consumer space. And if we look at the very top, there's really two different modalities of communication. Lync 2010 and previous versions were really all about business-to-business communication, whether we talked about users communicating within an organization to each other, and also with Lync Federation scenarios, communicating with organizations that have the deployments of Lync or other instant messaging or UC platforms. With Lync to Skype Federation, we're now opening up a whole new chapter with enabling business and consumer communication. So if we look at it at the highest level, Lync and Skype are really very complementary. So connecting Skype endpoints from Lync will enable rich communications to hundreds of millions of people from business-grade tools, reducing costs through simplification and integration, and allow IT to take control of consumerization of IT, but at the same time be able to give employees what they want. So with Skype, you bring the entire Skype customer base, products, and peer-to-peer network to your enterprise. So integrating Skype across the Microsoft portfolio is really an ambitious effort and a long-term investment. So Skype will definitely become an essential ingredient across the Microsoft portfolio of products and will most likely have a very positive impact. I think in the near term, what we can expect with respect to Federation with Skype is that you will be able to federate presence, instant messaging, and voice capabilities, but I think that the intent that's been communicated is that it'll be going far beyond just these capabilities. And we can expect that the video conferencing or video federation between Lync and Skype will be something that's going to be added in the near future. So Lync 2013 was, again, all about enabling customer choice and enabling scenarios that weren't possible with Lync 2010. Lync today supports on-premise and cloud deployments and really supports some rudimentary level of interoperability between on-premise deployments and Office 365. With Lync 2013, there's going to be an update to the server as well as the service that will now provide the capability in terms of giving you the choice to deploy in how you want. So one of the scenarios that's really being added is Lync hybrid mode. So just to level set a bit here, so the on-premise is your traditional on-premise deployment where you buy shrink-wrap software, you deploy it in your on-premises environment just like you did in 2010. And this approach ultimately allows the greatest flexibility. And you can also leverage this on-premise model by deploying with partners in sort of private cloud deployment, leveraging the Microsoft license mobility. With the cloud or Lync Online, whether you buy the standalone or part of the Office 365 suite, that'll continue to be available in much the same way. However, there is going to be a significant enhancements in terms of features and functionality that are being introduced now as part of Lync 2013, the Lync Wave 13 release. And again, the new model is really the hybrid model. So with 2013, you're now able to split your users between 2013 and Lync Online, but at the same time keeping the single domain name for all users, easing the migration scenarios. And this is really especially important where we have clients that are eager to take advantage of the value of the cloud services, but there is a portion of the users that for various reasons cannot be moved from on-premise to the cloud. And sometimes these are questions of comfort, privacy concerns, confidentiality concerns.
Thank you, Addis. Let's jump right in here. Lync 2013 enables customer deployment choice. No two environments are alike. Customers have unique scenarios and unique requirements of their unified communication systems. And in that vein, Microsoft has decided, hey, let's give customers more choice, more flexibility in how they deploy solutions. Lync today supports on-prem and cloud deployments and supports interoperability between on-prem Lync deployments and Office 365. In Lync 2013, we'll be updating Lync Server, and the service will provide users with more choice in terms of how they deploy. Let's have a quick peek at what we have today and how we've brought some new functionality to give an additional choice in terms of how a Lync can be deployed. So let's start with the on-prem. Lync can be deployed on-prem, just as it has in Lync 2010, and this deployment approach supports customer premise deployments and private cloud deployments via licensed mobility. So this is your traditional purchase your hardware, install type of deployment. You manage it. Then we also have the cloud, aka Lync Online. And so this could be deployed standalone or as part of an Office 365 suite. And it will continue to be available, and we'll get the advantages of the feature and manageability improvements we deliver as part of Lync 15, aka 2013. Now, what's new is that we've brought in the Lync hybrid model. So what this delivers is in the 2013 timeframe, enterprises will be able to split users between the Lync Server 2013 and that's the on-prem and Lync Online, while keeping the same single domain name for all the users, easing migration scenarios, especially where customers are eager to take advantage of the value of cloud services, but where a portion of their users cannot move from an on-premise deployment to the cloud. And this was a big improvement over the 2010 coexistence between on-prem and the cloud, where you had to have the cloud users and the on-prem users using completely separate SIP domains as well as federating them as though they were two separate organizations and managing them as if they were two separate organizations. Now that we understand a little bit about the hybrid model, and you may be wondering what are the capabilities, are there any limitations in terms of the hybrid model, and so we'll talk about the voice story and how that comes into play with the hybrid model. So hybrid voice is completely supported in the hybrid model. So this enables customers with users configured on Lync Online to leverage on-prem enterprise voice infrastructure as if those users were on-prem enterprise voice users. And the way that we do this is we're leveraging the media bypass capabilities so that we can have all of the signaling and servers in the cloud. And pause. Now that we have a little bit of an understanding in terms of the new hybrid deployment option, let's have a look at how this plays in the voice story for Lync 2013. In terms of voice, we're able to leverage what's called hybrid voice. So in the hybrid deployments, we enable customers with users configured on Lync Online to leverage an on-prem enterprise voice infrastructure as if those users were on-prem enterprise voice users. And it also provides the Lync Online / Office 365 users the ability to place and receive calls from the on-prem gateway. Now, why is this important? This essentially allows the cloud user to utilize an on-prem PSTN gateway if you have better rates out of your local establishment. And also, you can pause. Take 3 on the hybrid voice model. Let's see how this additional choice in terms of the hybrid configuration plays in the Lync 2013 voice story. So in terms of voice, we're providing customers a choice in terms of their voice deployment model, and they can choose which one suits their needs. Across the top there, you can see that we have fully supported on-prem voice. We have the cloud voice, where you have your Lync Online Office 365 users that can leverage enterprise voice. And then we also have the new model that is now with 2013, the hybrid voice model. And what the hybrid voice model does is it allows customers with users configured on Lync Online to leverage on-prem enterprise voice infrastructures if those users were on-prem enterprise voice users. And also provides the Office 365 / Lync Online users the ability to place and receive calls from the on-prem gateway. So this allows scenarios where Lync Online users can now dial legacy PBX extensions via an on-prem gateway to enable that scenario and truly connect the cloud users with the on-prem enterprise voice users. Now, how is this all made possible is we're leveraging media bypass. So media bypass allows us to perform the signaling against the front-end server. However, once the front-end server initiates all the SIP invites and creates the call, the Lync client will now go directly to the gateway that has been provisioned or that will be handling that call. So you do not have to hairpin through the mediation server. So in the case where the mediation server might be in Lync Online for a cloud user, now we can say, okay, the mediation server is there, but we're doing media bypass, and now you are going to that local gateway on your on-prem so that we're not, needlessly sending traffic up to the cloud, and we get the best experience for and quality of the call by being able to leverage a gateway that's local to the Lync client. Let's shift over and talk a little bit more about the new features that are surrounding site resiliency and high availability. In terms of the front end, role, we have a new method of site resiliency that's been introduced with Lync 2013, which extends the concept of the pools introduced with Lync 2010. And it enables disaster recovery, so you can pair together front-end pools at different sites. In the event of a disaster, you can then fail over users from the affected pool to the other pool with minimum recovery time. And Lync Server 2013 preview also introduces support for server mirroring as an improved back-end database availability solution. So whereas 2010, we only supported active passive cluster for the back-end database, now we're introducing server mirroring, and as Microsoft has been listening to their customers and has added this great new feature to support disaster recovery. So one of the most important and most requested new features in Lync 2013 is a new scalable and cost-effective disaster recovery solution. If you have multiple data centers, you can deploy multiple front-end pools and separate sites to provide continuation. Pause. Take 2 on disaster recovery. Let's take a look and a quick peek at the new method of site resiliency and enhancements in the disaster recovery of Lync front-end pools. New method of site resiliency is introduced with Lync 2013, which extends the concept of pools introduced with Lync 2010. To enable disaster recovery, you can pair together front-end pools at different sites. In the event of a disaster, you can then fail over users from the affected pool to the other pool with minimum recovery time. Also, a great new feature is that we've now introduced support for server mirroring as an improved back-end database high availability solution. So we're taking the Take 3 disaster recovery. Let's have a look at the disaster recovery improvements that have been introduced for Lync 2013 front-end pools. A new method of site resiliency is introduced with Lync Server 2013, which extends the concept of pools that were introduced in Lync 2010. To enable disaster recovery, you can pair together front-end pools at different sites. In the event of a disaster, you can then fail over users from the affected pool to the other pool with minimum recovery time. Also, we've introduced new support for server mirroring as an improved back-end database high availability solution. So you're no longer subject to just using active passive SQL clustering to provide high availability for your back-end databases. Now we're allowing to bring in not only HA but DR capabilities by having server mirroring as a feasible option. So one of the most important and most requested new features in Lync 2013 is a new scalable and cost-effective DR solution. If you have multiple data centers, you can deploy multiple front-end pools and separate sites to provide continuation of service in the event that one entire pool or site goes down. To deploy disaster recovery, designate pairs of front-end pools across geographically dispersed sites. Each site contains a front-end pool which is paired with a corresponding front-end pool in another site. Both pools in a pair are active, and the new Lync Server backup service replicates data to keep the pools synchronized. In addition to providing disaster recovery ability, 2 paired pools serve as the backup registrars for each other. There's no restriction on the distance between 2 data centers that have paired pools. We recommend using 2 data centers in the same world region with high-speed links between them that are separated enough to avoid a single disaster hitting both at the same time. Having 2 data centers across world regions is possible, but could incur higher data loss due to latency in data replication. So when planning your pools, taking into consideration this new functionality, there's a few recommended best practices that you have to keep in mind. 1, pair Enterprise Edition pools only with other Enterprise Edition pools and Standard Edition pools only with other Standard Edition pools. Pair physical pools only with other physical pools and pair virtual pools only with other virtual pools. And that's just to make sure that you get the same level of performance in terms of when you have to fail over, right? So we want to do one for one, like for like. Each pool in the pair should have the capacity to serve all users from both pools in the event of a disaster. So with that statement, you can see that sizing is very crucial in terms of planning your DR because, as we said, both pools are active and they are servicing users regularly, but we have to now take into account the fact that we can have additional users that will take up resources in the event of a DR failover. The solution also supports the central management store. If one pool in a pair contains the central management store, a backup central management store database is created in the backup pool, and central management store services are installed in both pools. At any point in time, one of the two central management store databases is the active master, and the other is a standby. The content is replicated by the backup service from the active master to the standby. So we have proprietary replication technology that's replicating the data between the pools. So this is a big win. You don't have to buy anything extra to facilitate the data transfer between pools. So let's talk a little bit about failover and failback. Disaster recovery procedures, both failover and failback, are always manual. If there's a disaster, the administrator manually invokes the failover procedures using Lync server management shell commandlets. So there's no GUI capability for you to initiate any kind of failover. It has to be something that you've actually thought about and that you have to go through the shell to initiate. Let's talk a little bit about the mediation server role and jump back into the enterprise voice capabilities and what the significant enhancements are in terms of Lync's routing capabilities. Let's take a walk down memory lane here. In OCS 2007 R2, the routing capabilities were defined in a simple one-to-one relationship, with one mediation server being associated with one gateway. In Lync Server 2010, we got a little bit smarter. We said, okay, hardware, we don't want to have hardware sprawl. We want to reduce that. So this became a one-to-N relationship where multiple gateways could be associated with a single mediation server pool. And with media bypass, this made this even more possible because you didn't have to send the audio stream through the mediation server. We could use the mediation server to do all the signaling, and then once the call was connected, it could be the Lync client to the gateway. Now, in 2013, we've taken this relationship even a step further and have gone an M-to-N relationship, which has significantly improved our options in terms of connecting Lync clients to various telephony endpoints. So I'll speak a little bit about how we're doing that. So the M-to-N trunking routing relationship means that not only can multiple gateways be associated with the same mediation server pool, but gateways can now also be associated with multiple mediation server pools or the same mediation server pool with multiple unique associations. These associations are made by defining a trunk, which is a logical association between a mediation server pool and a gateway. From a practical perspective, this means that you now must define your trunks as part of your topology using Topology Builder. Also, we have inter-trunk routing. For organizations migrating to Lync with legacy systems, this new functionality will make the entire coexistence and migration process much smoother. Inter-trunk routing makes it possible for Lync 2013 to serve as a gateway for interconnecting an IP-PBX to a PSTN gateway or to interconnect multiple IP-PBX systems. Features include the ability to assign PSTN usages to an incoming trunk in order to determine the route to an outgoing trunk. Media bypass support is provided in inter-trunk routing. So that's a huge win that Lync 2013 can sit between multiple PBX and provide routing to connect the two disparate systems. And that's a great new feature. Call forwarding and simultaneous ringing. Lync 2013 provides a wider range of configuration options for call forwarding and simultaneous ringing. For example, you can now restrict call forwarding to internal extensions only or to local numbers only. So no longer do you have to make the blanket decision as to give an all or nothing in terms of some of these calling features like call forwarding. You may have a subset of your users that only need to do call forwarding within internal extensions, and you don't necessarily want them to go out to the PSTN. Now you have that flexibility with Lync 2013. For manager delegate scenarios, with the latest version of Lync, a delegate can configure simultaneous ringing that enables incoming calls to his or her manager to ring all of the delegate's simultaneous ringing targets. Voicemail escape. While there are many advantages to simultaneous ringing and it's widely used in earlier versions of Lync, there was always a possibility that when ringing an alternate device, that the voicemail of this other device would pick up the call. So we've all seen that. If the ringing of your cell phone versus the Lync client were not where they needed to be, you might not get the voicemail on your Lync voicemail in Exchange but you might get it on your cell phone. So to prevent an incoming call from being immediately routed to voicemail, Lync Server 2013 provides the ability to configure a timer. If the call is answered within the range of time defined by this timer, Lync Server 2013 determines the call to have been answered by a carrier's voicemail. At this point, the call is disconnected from the carrier's voicemail system, while all the user's remaining endpoints continue to ring. This gives the user the opportunity to answer the call or to let the call be routed to the user's corporate voicemail. In this way, business-related calls can be recorded in the user's corporate voicemail system instead of his or her personal mobile phone voicemail. So that's also a great new feature that Lync 2013 is bringing to the table. In the area of caller ID presentation with Lync Server 2010, the called party's phone number can be translated from E.164 format to a local dialing format required by the associated gateway. To do this, you define one or more translation rules to manipulate the request URI before routing it to the gateway. Lync Server 2013 introduces the option to also translate the calling party's phone number from E.164 format to a local dialing format required by the gateway. Conference dial-out for users that are not enabled for enterprise voice. While this was possible in earlier versions of Lync, using a static route, it was always less than an optimal solution. Fortunately, Lync Server 2013 makes it much easier for administrators to enable users who are not enabled for enterprise voice to initiate dial-outs from a conference. This means that meeting organizers who use this conferencing policy setting can accommodate participants for conference dial-outs. The meeting organizer can also initiate a conference dial-out even if he or she is not enabled for enterprise voice. Persistent chat. Now, what is persistent chat? From earlier versions of OCS/Lync, this was the group chat server role, and persistent chat basically enables you to participate in multi-party topic-based conversations that persist over time. So you can host category-based channels of chat rooms for ongoing conversations that can continue in perpetuity. Persistent chat server can help your organization do the following: improve communication between geographically dispersed and cross-functional teams as the chat persists in perpetuity through time. Broaden information awareness and participation. Improve communication with your extended organization. Reduce information overload. Improve information awareness. Increase dispersion of important knowledge and information. So this role has been rebranded as persistent chat, and as I said before, it's the group chat server. Now, persistent chat is now a fully functioning, integrated role of the Lync ecosystem. In 2010, Group Chat Server was a third-party trusted application for Lync Server 2010. So it's no longer the ugly stepchild. It's actually been brought into the fold of Lync ecosystem with 2013. And the persistent chat server functionality is implemented using 3 new server roles. There's the persistent chat service, the main persistent chat server services implemented as a front-end server role. There's the persistent chat store, which is the back-end server role. and persistent chat compliance store, and that's a back-end server role for persistent chat compliance. So, being able to, if you have any compliance or regulatory requirements, you can actually record the content that's going through these chat rooms in a compliance store. These persistent chat server roles are optional and installed only by customers who want comprehensive persistent chat server functionality. The persistent chat server front-end server role runs on a computer not co-located on the Lync server front-end server and runs two services, persistent chat service and the compliance service. A couple of other things is that there's no separate tool now for the administration of this role, as it's been brought in as a true role. You can also use the topology builder to deploy it, and it also leverages the similar capabilities that we discussed in terms of high availability NDR for the front-end pool. The chat server also has this capability, and there are new roles-based access control roles specifically for the administration of the persistent chat role. So you can designate somebody who is going to be the custodian of that application and utilize an out-of-the-box security group in AD to give them everything they need to be able to administer the persistent chat server. Also, Lync policies have persistent chat specific policies included in them and are fully integrated. And also, we have SCOM integration as well with the Lync 2013 persistent chat server. With virtualization being the norm and where organizations are trying to cut costs in terms of hardware, power, etc., this was an area that needed to be addressed in terms of if I have virtual desktops, which is now a paradigm shift where not only are we virtualizing server hardware, but we're also virtualizing desktop software, we're virtualizing desktop hardware. So how does that play with Lync? Utilizing the real-time protocols that are in use in Lync, we need to find some way to support that on the virtual desktop infrastructure environment. And with Lync 2013, that's been addressed. So the Lync 2013 plugin adds support for VDI scenarios. Lync 2013 client now supports audio and video in a VDI environment. A user can connect an audio or video device, for example, a headset or a webcam, to the local computer, for example, a thin client or a repurposed computer. The user can connect to the virtual machine, sign into Lync 2013 client that is running on the virtual machine, and participate in real-time audio and video communication. Following features are supported in a VDI environment: pairing and sign-in, device integration for audio and video, including the following: call controls from the device, presence integration on the device, multiple device support, location and emergency services support, support for all Lync modalities, including IM, audio, video, application sharing, desktop sharing, PowerPoint sharing, whiteboard, and file transfer. Audio and video support in person-to-person calls and conference calls. So in terms of the requirements, there are the following requirements for the virtual machines that are running on the data center computers. Virtual machines must be configured with Windows 8 release preview, Windows 7, or Windows Server 2008 R2 with the latest service packs. So those are the requirements from the hardware perspective and operating system perspective. There are a few known limitations, which include audio device and video device tuning pages are not available. Multi-view video is not supported. Recording of conversations is not supported. The call delegation and response group agent anonymization features are not supported. Joining meetings anonymously, that is, joining Lync meetings hosted by an organization that does not federate with your organization, is not supported. Using the Lync VDI plugin along with a Lync Phone Edition device is also not supported. So I will turn it back over to Addis. Thank you.
Thank you, Gareth. Lync 2013 is certainly a compelling upgrade, both from the end user and the IT professional perspective. For some potential next steps, we encourage you to see and test drive Lync in our Customer Immersion Experience Center, which gives you an immersive experience using Lync 2013 client across a range of devices. You can also download the preview bits and try in your own lab environment, or you can try Lync online. Unlike previous versions of Lync, Lync 2013 client is now included in Office 2013 preview, which is available for download today. Lync 2013 client also works against Lync Server 2010 backend and can be used across the range of devices that are in the market today. In addition, you could go through a 2-day Lync technical briefing and get a business value assessment and get an understanding of what Lync 2013 can do for your organization. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope that the session was informative, and if there's any additional questions, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Now that was a great webinar on Lync 2013 and Lync Online. I'd like to thank you all for joining us and listening to this webinar. And if you have any questions about Lync 2013 or Lync Online, or would like to learn more about Navantis, please go to www.navantis.com. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.